Hello, today I'm going to teach you exactly how to make a pitch deck so you can send to investors to raise money for your low budget feature film. If you like this content, stick around to the end. What? Hi, Ridge here, and for over 20 years I've been a filmmaker, including 2 feature films, and it's my goal on this channel to help motivated filmmakers like yourself who are struggling with the process of producing their first feature film to instead know the simple and achievable way to write, shoot, and sell that feature film, ultimately achieving your dreams. Today we're going to be going over what it takes to make a pitch deck for your low budget feature film so that way you can get funding for it. And a pitch deck is also known as an electronic press kit. It can include a lot of things, and we're going to go over every single one of them, so make sure you stay to the end of the film. And of course, as always, if you find value in this, make sure you slap the like button. So what should it look like for a feature film? Now keep in mind, an electronic press kit is used to send to people to try and pitch your film to typically have them give you money for it. But sometimes an electronic press kit is even to try to get some sort of like from a distributor. You find a distributor that you think will do well at distributing your film, you send them the electronic press kit and say, hey, when we make this movie, would you be interested in giving it to us? And what you get in return is called a letter of intent, which, to be perfectly honest, doesn't mean much, but it means something to investors. That means that you've put in work to communicate with other businesses. So let's break it down. What should your electronic press kit do? I would recommend trying to make it kind of as not over the top good looking, but simple, but also attractive. Don't just write it down on a white piece of paper. I'm gonna teach you how to make a really good, simple, but yet attractive looking one. And I'm sorry, I hate to tell you this, but you're gonna have to learn how to use an imaging processing, like Photoshop. You're gonna have to learn Photoshop. There's tons of imaging softwares out there that you can use to create this pitch deck, and you're gonna have to learn how to use them. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. So here are the things you need to have in your EPK. You can find these examples of these pitch decks down below. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter while you're up there. Download these so you can use these as templates to get some good ideas and inspiration for making your own pitch deck. Keep in mind the ones I have here do not have the budgets on them. They were purely for getting letters of intent. First is your log line. You want to have at the top of your page something like, this is the name of the movie. Underneath it is the log line. If you don't know what a log line is and don't know how to write a good log line, join the club. It's not easy to write a log line. There are people that they specialize in doing so. They'll watch your movie or read your script and they'll come up with a log line for you because it's tough. So spend time on your log line and synopsis. The second thing is the synopsis. And you want to make sure you kind of separate it like you see here. So it's a little bit separated with some cool artwork or distance. And then again, write a good synopsis. Then the next thing you want to do is brag about your film and what you can potentially do. So you want to have a list of potential actors that you can actually get. Don't just sit there and be like, oh yes, we're going to use Tom Hardy. He would be the best for this role. You have to be realistic. Like, do you think you could possibly get an A-list or a B-list? More than likely not. You're going to get your friends and family, and if you're lucky, a local actor in the valley. Maybe they're in theater, or maybe they're in the local acting clubs or the improv clubs. Regardless, if they have any sort of reputation, make sure you put them in there as potential actors. And of course, if there's anyone that's a local resident that's maybe been in well-known TV shows, throw them in there. But of course, get their permission first. And then locations or potential locations. Again, this is going to be something that is going to sell your film, is how awesome your locations are. So you want to make sure that you throw that in there with beautiful pictures. Or if it isn't beautiful pictures, like maybe it's a really grungy warehouse you have access to, show pictures of that. Of, hey, this is the potential location we have to shoot. Because investors are going to be looking at, does this movie have what it takes to sell? The next thing you need to have is your budget or your estimated budget. I'm going to link in a video right here on how to do that. Make sure you check that out. I'll also link it in the description and at the end. So we talked about in the previous video how to actually budget your film. Great, good job. Now you need to do it again 2 more times. You need to have 3 different estimated budgets. The lowest, the mid-range, and the highest. So your lowest is the bare minimum of what you can do. And then your mid-range is like, this would be comfortable, and these are the extra things that we could do to make this movie better. Don't tell an investor, so now we'll be able to shoot it on the Area Alexa. You need to make sure whatever money you're putting into it is actually going to help sell the movie more. Don't just put in a bunch of random extra things and say, well, now we're just gonna pay everybody a whole bunch more money. When you do raise to your next mid-range, you need to actually put in details of like, we'll be able to get better locations, some CG so we won't have to shoot it like this. You know, some things like that that's really going to help sell your film and make it pop. And then the same goes for the high budget. Make sure you're listing, when you write down the budget, what it's going to cost and where money's going to be allocated, you're listing specifically where their invested money is going to go. So don't just fake it till you make it. Make sure you're detailed. Because if somebody's going to be throwing their money at this, and if they're at all a good business person, they're gonna call out your BS real fast. And then the next thing on the list is you need to have a link, a working link, to a concept short. Now a concept short can be like 3 minutes. I wouldn't recommend going over that, but it needs to show that you are capable of doing this. So get whatever cameras you have, go shoot a short film representation of it. It can either be a concept trailer or it can be just a scene from the movie. You need to show these people that you're capable of doing this. If it's a drama, yeah, a talking head scene will do. If it's a kung fu movie, you better have some kung fu in it. But it's very critical that you do this. And again, make sure it's a working link, and more importantly, make sure it's good quality. And then last but not least, you need to have your marketing plan. What is your strategy of making their money back so when an investor looks at that, they are confident in how they're going to get their money back? That's critical that you do that. Now, of course, I know you're asking, how do I make a marketing plan? I'm going to go ahead and link to that video right here. And then I'm going to link to my previous one right here. I want you to watch those both so you get a great concept on what to do with your pitch deck. And don't forget, in the meantime, always be creative.